Welcome to Echoes of Enlightenment, where we talk about spirituality, life lessons, and overall self-development. This is a preview to Season 3, the Narcissist versus the Chosen One. So I wanted to do a preview for Season 3, the Narcissist versus the Chosen One. And this is just an introduction to what narcissism is and what it is intended to do, and how the narcissist hopes the ending plays out. The chosen one and the narcissist go. The chosen one is a perfect victim for the narcissist. And this is not taking anything away from just the regular people that encounter narcissists. And I'm going to start saying narcs just because no telling how many times I'm going to have to say narcissist. And I'm just going to keep tripping over that. So when I say narc, y'all know what I mean. And if anybody who's been through narcissistic abuse will know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't been through it, it's almost something you can't understand. You won't be able to understand. It's like an exotic food that the only way you can explain the taste is if they actually tasted it. You couldn't explain it. Nobody could. There's no words to describe it. You have to go through the situation to understand the insanity behind the whole thing. And I've realized over the years how people throw around the word narcissist. Like everybody's a narcissist, blah, blah, blah. And I thought about that. And I think it's to diminish what a narcissist really is. Because it loses its value. If everyone's a narcissist, then a real narcissist can blend in the crowd. And I think it's such of a serious situation. And it's really, it's talked about, but I think it should gain way more exposure than what we see. And I think the reason why it doesn't gain as much exposure is because if it's exposed, then people are going to be in for a shock of their life. So the best bet is to keep it hidden so you don't have to do a bunch of other explaining on why didn't you tell us this was going on. Because narcissism is more than a personality disorder. By you naming it all these different little, words, titles, giving it all these different titles, you almost write it off. You almost discredit it because you give it a name and you're like, oh, okay, well, they're just this. So this means that that's just them and we don't have to look any further because we already gave it a name. And that's the kind of the equivalent of when I, like in my other episode, I think season 1, synchronicities. Synchronicities are, they're valuable things that we really need to know to navigate and understand exactly what they are. But if we can label synchronicities coincidences, then we don't have to look into synchronicities. And then when you look into synchronicities, under synchronicities is the beginning of an awakening, which is a whole nother thing. But something is trying to stop us from reaching these other things. Like when you say narcissist is a narcissist just has a personality disorder. That's to divert us. But and that's for the people that haven't really encountered a narcissist. Because once you encounter a narcissist, it's you finally taking a bite of that food that you couldn't explain the taste. And even after you go through it and explain what happened, the people, the craziness behind the story is so insane. And I know whoever's listening that's been through narc abuse is like shaking their head like real high to low, high, just a hard shake like, oh my God, yeah. They know, but the other people would listen to a story like if it was a fiction movie. And it definitely should be mainstream, but it's just so much behind the actual diabolical situation to where it would rock the boat for everything if we knew what the real deal is. So what my goal is for season 3 is I want to teach people how to spot narcissism, mainly how to go through it. This is another thing, like I said, the chosen ones, we're put in places and we're made to stay there. Through the whole thing. And even like we got to let that whole thing run its cycle. It's got to run its whole cycle and we got to stay right there because we got to get the information, process it, let God give us a little downloads to mix with all that so we can spit it out. So now I have the playbook on how to navigate the narcissistic abuse. And it's so important, and I'm glad I'm going to be able to teach people like how to navigate this thing, because it's so crazy to where you need God. For the chosen, that's where awakening will be sparked. Well, my awakening was sparked. And that's when I was introduced to the spiritual team. And because that's the only way you can win a battle against a narcissist, is by not fighting it in the 3D world, but having your spiritual team and God to fight it for you. That's the trick. And I'm going to explain. I'm going to break all that down in season 3, but I think we're on we're season 2, like episode 5 or something. And I have probably maybe like 6 more episodes for 2. And then we'll get into 3 and we'll begin. And I'm sure some people are like, oh, if it's so important, why don't you tell us now? Well, it's just not the time to do it right now. Because if somebody's going through some narcissistic abuse right now, everything works in a divine order, in a divine plan. Maybe they need to go through it or something. There's some lessons that need to happen. Because the thing is, even if I put out an episode on how to navigate it, they might not find it until 2 years later. It's all in divine order. Everything you run into and everything that happens is supposed to happen that exact way. And soon as you realize that, then your whole life changes and peace will start to embody you. And we'll get into all that later too. We're gonna have a nice series. But until then,